Hi, it's Mildred Songbird in New York City. I have a very interesting report for you tonight, and I'll begin. Her story. Her orders. She who must be obeyed. That's what Ron Paul used to say on PBS when his wife would call him. She who must be obeyed. Lucifer, who was my husband, used to tell me about Ron Paul. I guess because he obeyed me. So, a good thing he did because he was Lucifer. And I was the good angel Gabriel. So by him obeying me, he became good. And so don't worry about Lucifer anymore. He's a fine human being. Okay, let's see here. The black people, it will become obvious, are the real Jews, those who killed Christ. Their guilt and self-hatred has taken them to be at war with themselves and with the society in which they live. They are truly untouchables, except when enforcing the law. You have to touch them. You have to control them. You can't let them kill people and hurt people because they are dead inside, and and they want to kill themselves. If they continue to commit crimes, their citizenship should be revoked, and they should be returned to West Africa, from where their ancestors were brought to these shores, where their descendants were brought to these shores in an attempt to teach them to serve and to work. They, Jesus Christ, offered to save those from themselves, those who killed him and left his mother and wife to grieve. Their grief has spread exponentially as they destroy as many people as try to help them. Black people, they are violent. The masses are violent masochists. More secret Santa. Orders. Church. Pleasure. The black people who go to church are decent. Generally speaking, they're far more decent than the ones who don't. Okay, so the church order pleasure started Satmat and Talk and Share, phonics and grammar studies back. I'm talking about what should exist in society. Grammar studies back into the schools. Get sex out of the school. Get communism, socialism, Islam, Christianity. More masochistic studies out of the school. Put Satmat in the school. That's a logical school of thought that respects God. Can music and art should be put back into the school. Physical education, shop for boys. Home economics for girls should be returned to the school. Physical education, yoga should be in the schools. Singing patriotic songs and classic hit songs should be in the schools. U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights returned to the schools. St. Nicholas and St. Valentine studied because they're lovers. Music and art for boys, shop for boys, home economics returned to school. Okay, now where's the good stuff? I hope Lucifer goes. Okay, I don't have to get into that. I'll get out of here. I have to read it. I can't read it out of context. You won't understand it. I hope Lucifer goes to Pratt and becomes an architect. He was Frank Lloyd Wright. He was Sarwan Singh, who designed the Dera. He was Albert Speer, Hitler's architect. So he has architecture in his blood. He'd be a natural. He'd be a great architect. Let's see, what's this? Lets me do Talk and Share until he... I hope Lucifer lets me do Talk and Share until he finds somebody else to do it for him. And I hope that he finds a center and sends and the cure for pedophilia. The Lord of the souls. Michael John's spirit becomes Lord of the souls in his body. I hope he finds a good woman to love, who he'll serve sexually, and she'll serve him in the ways that he needs. Keeps the house clean. Delivers. Well-spiced meals. Prepares, I should say, spiced meals. The spices in the Indian food supplement the animal appetites in the spirit of humanity, since the Hindus living in Africa made babies fucking the apes. Phil U.C. Ken Govinda Singh singing. He was Louis Armstrong. Govinda Singh was Louis Armstrong. He was Nat King Cole, who sang. Louis Armstrong sang "What a Wonderful World." Nat King Cole sang "Nature Boy," the nature of boy and girl. A world full of things to wonder about after you've attended to what you're hunted and gathered. Mild read about you already to manifest your best. Ma enter pleasure. Feelings. What's that word? Is that Govinda Singh? Yeah, Govinda Singh. Yeah. Ma and man and ma enter pleasure, because we have both in us. That's what Govinda Singh said. We have both. We all have both in us. We have men and a man and a woman in each of us. And then trying to deny it and repress that is what makes us crazy. Govinda Singh fell in love with the most beautiful flower in the Garden of Eden, the rose. Every rose is not meant to blush unseen. Sawan Singh said that. And he married Govinda Singh's rose turned woman. W. ordered Michelle Birdsong. Pleasure enter. I was just talking about now as well. The W ordered. Because there are twins in my womb now. And I feel pleasure just thinking about them coming out of my womb and being in my arms. Govinda Singh got inside her head, behind the pineal gland, when she was 3 years old, to control her hand, if need be, thieves wanting to be included in her plan, guided her pen to write them apart to play in the physical heaven on earth, where all are there because of their Einstein worth from previous births. Also, Maria Cott Russian. Ma's Aria, that's one of the babies in my womb, caught her. Us. Switching. Sign. Oh, so that's why they've been delayed. The signs have been switched. They were supposed to be Tauruses. Now they can be Geminis. Maybe. I hope so. Stevie Wonder. Hitch. With Govinda Singh. You are the sunshine of my life. And the Beatles wrote Here Comes the Sun. Sir Paul McCartney is a projection of Govinda Singh. Ebony and Ivory, this Stevie Wonder sang it, and Sir Paul McCartney sang it with him. And they had a hit, Ebony and Ivory, which is a black girl and a white boy. That would be Michelle Birdsong black and Govinda Singh white, because the Indians are considered white mostly. Eve was Skin and Bones eye. Ebony, see? Ebone eye. She had no appetite. Where you can't do right, you have to please your big sister, or she'll leave you to die of fright in the night to spite you. I was feeling Adam's feelings, one of the first particles of the human body, who cried loudly for someone to be a part of. His experience creating himself all by himself, and he wall, W-all. He hit a brick wall to my head. Is that over? For one of a kind, trained, P-A-T-E-H-E, empathetic, sympathetic, kind. She was kind. She was trained to be kind and sympathetic to mankind. ING, 8th Avenue subway line, interfere with Mardi Gras, Manhattan, art in Ken Daughter's pattern. Yeah, that's right. Manhattan. Those musicals, there are a lot of musicals on there I relate to. Showboat, Annie, Hello Dolly. So, Sound of Music especially. New Topics Hope, because I was Maria, who trained her husband's 7 children to sing, and they got to escape the Nazis by singing. And later, when her husband, the Baron von Trapp, she was a baroness. She became the baroness. She started off as a nun in a convent. So when he lost his money, they were able to survive and live very well on the earnings of the children, because they had become professional singers, the Von Trapp singers. It's a true story. It's in The Sound of Music. All's well that ends well is blasphemous. It's saying heaven will end. I thought heaven was for eternity. This is Shakespeare talking, he's in me. Energy transferred. San Francisco. C. Reversal. The Jew John Adams. CRTV. The Jew John Adams. And victory for them both. That's Glenn Beck, the Christian, got together and put their businesses together and created the Blaze TV. How could that be? The Jew is against is that Christian? Is it Christ I wanted to be like? You're a better man than me, Gunga Din R. Gun Garden. R. Rung on the ladder. You'd better look before you leap into the pool. William Earl. That was the man who saved my life. William Earl Dixon in Clarksville, Tennessee. These are parts in my brain that come out in the writing. I do automatic writing. Okay, so, but what does it matter? So waters run deep. That's from the song I Never Promised You a Rose Garden. It's a gun garden we talked about up there. Now we talk about a rose garden. Still waters run deep. That's Ethel Waters was an actress who sang